students. We move on to the next topic of financial systems or financial of your subject, which is banking in India. In this chapter, we are going to talk about what are banks, what are the functions of banks, what are the classifications of bank, and so on and so forth. Okay, now what comes to your mind when you think of a bank? Okay, so a bank is a place where you can deposit your money and you can withdraw your money. This is what a basic definition of bank or a basic function of banks is what we understand. Okay, let us go into the details. When we talk about a bank, ideally a bank is a financial institution which deals with deposits and advances and other related services. So these days banks are not just a place where you deposit money and you withdraw money. It is a little more than that. Okay, it is a place which gives you more facilities. These days you do get calls for credit card services, or you get calls for, do you want to start a policy, insurance policy or something like that. So they are into that also. You also get calls for, do you want to pay your bills, so just tell us, we will do that for you. So what is all this? Banks are doing various functions apart from the primary functions of depositing and withdrawal of money, right? Let's talk about the word bank is derived from a Latin word bancus or banqui. Okay, or however you pronounce it, because it's a Latin word, bank. All right, it's come from a Latin word, bancus or bank. Okay, now what are the functions of bank? There are various functions of bank, primary functions and secondary functions. Okay, so primary functions are basically the basic functions, like why bank exists. So bank exists majorly for accepting deposits and granting loans and advances. When you talk about accepting deposits, you know what type of deposits does bank accept. It accepts demand deposits, current deposits, saving accounts, no frills account, time deposits. Now what are all these deposits? You know, demand deposits are nothing but, you also call them as DD, right? So it's basically when they are those deposits which can be withdrawn by the depositor at any time on demand. Okay, by a check. No interest is paid on such deposits. Rather, the depositor has to pay something to the bank for the service rendered to the businessmen and industrialists. So whenever you pay your fees or something like that, many of the government institutions, they tell you that you do a DD. Okay, you do a demand deposit on our name. So that's how it works. Now current deposits is nothing but, it is maintained by the people who have liquid balance, usually people who withdraw cash at a very constant at a very frequent level, and who deposit money at a very frequent level. So if I want to avail this facility, I usually go for the current deposit. Okay, this does not have any interest rate which the banks give. These accounts are generally in the case of business firms, institutions, cooperative bodies. Nowadays banks are designing and offering various investment schemes for deposits of money. These schemes may vary from bank to bank. It may be stated that banks are currently working out with different innovative schemes for deposits. Such deposits accounts offer better interest and at the same time withdrawable facilities also. Okay, these schemes are mostly offered by the foreign banks. So the third one is saving account. Okay, saving account is a very common account among us. Usually we keep our money for however or whatever time period we want to, and we get some kind of interest from it. Okay, it's usually 4.5% and all that. It is comparatively less than your fixed deposits, right? So this is an account, saving account. No frills account is where when a credit rationing denotes a situation where large section of loan accounts do not get the loan they seek. This is a serious implications for developing economy like India. The proposed no frills account is a win-win opportunity for banks to cater such segments to attract profitable customer as a part of their unsecured campaign. The no frills bank account will be innovative instrument to introduce the concept of banking to the unprivileged as urged by the RBI. So it is basically an account system where you are giving benefits to the underprivileged class. Okay. And last is time deposits. When you keep for a specific period, it could be in the form of RD, it could be in the form of FD, it could be in the form of auto sweep, which is called as flexi deposits. Okay, so these are different deposits. Recurring deposits is where every month you invest some amount of money. FD is where you keep for a period of time, maybe 3 years, 1 year, or whatever, and you get some good interest, 7%, 8%. Flexi deposit or auto sweep is a new system wherein you have your saving account. You tell your bank that I want to maintain 10,000 for emergency purpose. Rest all you can put it in the you can convert it into auto sweep, which means it will be kept with the bank in case of in the form of FD. So you will get a more interest rate. Instead of 4%, you will rather get 6%, right? That 2 additional percent you get if you lock your money and keep. And you want to withdraw it, you can withdraw it as and when you want, but it works like a facility of fixed deposit. So that is auto sweep. So these are under the headline of time deposit. So what did we study? We spoke about the primary functions of bank. In primary functions, we have to focus upon this next part, which is granting loans and advances. Now what is granting loans and advances? As the name suggests, that bank only don't take money for deposits, they also give money. Okay, that's how the economy functions, that's how the banks function. So when you're talking about they give you loans and advances, whom are they giving loans? They are giving loans for the people who require them, right? So whatever additional or whatever money that banks keep with them, they are not going to keep that money idle. They want that money, they themselves want that money to grow. Okay, or they themselves want to earn money on that money, isn't it? So if you are keeping money at 5% with a bank, right, so bank will lend that money to somebody at 7% and earn that 2%. So that's what banks are there for, commercial purpose, isn't it? So they make profit, you earn money, and the person who requires money is also getting money. So it's a win-win situation for all three parties. All right, so granting loan and advances, one is term loan. So term loan is where it is a counterpart of fixed deposits in the bank. Term loans are made when the repayment is sought to be made in fixed predetermined installments. Yes, this type of loan is normally given to the borrowers on accruing long term assets. Alright, loans given for purchase of plant and machinery, buildings, and all that are term loans, where you expect the person to pay you on uh, continuous basis, right? You're asking installments from the party whom the bank has given money, right? Next is short term credit. Okay, so short term credit is nothing but when banks are giving loan to the entrepreneurs for a short period of time. Okay, so there could be a requirement of working capital for my business, so I require money for a shorter period of time. So instead of going for a long period of time and paying more interest, I rather go for a short period of time. Last is about loans and advances. These include term loans, direct loans, advances given to all types of customers, mainly to businessmen and investors, against the personal security or goods movable and immovable in nature. So banks are seeing your assets, and compared to your assets, they are providing you with loans and advances. So these are basically the primary functions of banks. Okay, you might get a question of what are banks and what are the functions of banks. So you are expected to write both the functions, primary and secondary. Primary, we saw the two major parts of that, which is accepting deposits and granting loans and advances. Let's move on to the next one, which is secondary functions of bank. Now what are secondary functions of bank? They work like agencies and they provide certain utility functions. All right, now what is the agency functions they provide? They payment and collections of checks. So banks is giving you check facility, that is again a utility that is again a agency function that bank is doing for you. Okay, I told you that certain kind of bills bank is paying for you, right? So that banks are doing for you. So also bills of exchange, that is also a part of that, which means any whenever trade happens and there's a person who has a promissory note and he wants to convert that into cash, he can give it to the bank, and then banks can pay him and then collect it from the person who has made the uh, paid the bill of exchange, right? So this is it. Next is execution of standing instructions. So execution of standing instructions is nothing but a standing order is an instruction an account holder gives to his bank to pay a set of amount to regular intervals to another account. So I, as a holder of an account with SBI bank, I'll give some instructions to the bank that you have to pay the other account holder on a regular basis. So bank is doing that for me. Okay, that is standing orders. And last is acting as a trustee. So acting as a trustee is nothing but where it is under the section 3 of the Indian Trust Act 1882. A trust is an obligation annexed to the ownership of a property arising out of a confidence reposed in and accepted by the owner, declared and accepted by him for the benefit of other of the owner. Okay, so trustee as in custody. Okay, so something, say for example, a bank work as maybe I have written a will and kept, so whoever is my legal hire, passing on the property to my legal hire would be the role of banks to do that. Okay, so these are certain agency functions that banks will do. Let us look at what are the general utility functions. One is about the safe custody. Okay, so you know that many people keep their safe their valuable stuff with the banks, like the gold that they have or certain kind of papers they have. So they take these lockers from the bank and they keep all their stuff in the bank at a safe custody. Okay, next is safe deposit wallets. All right, so wallet facility is given by the banks. A person who has to execute a lease agreement, it contains terms and conditions of the hire. In transactions relation between banks and customer is that that of a lessor and lessee. The customer has to pay annual rental charges to the bank, so that is also being done. Next is remittance of funds. Remittance of funds is issuing the money. So demand drafts, mail order, tele order, electronic modes, all these are the utility functions of banks. So right now we saw there are two things. One is about the secondary functions and next one is about the general utility functions of banks. Yeah, in general utility functions, yes, there are few more, that is pension payments. Okay, pension disbursements, like for example, if I am a person of a central government, so central government will tell the banks that to pay me pensions on on monthly basis. So that bank will be doing it for the government, right? Acting as a dealer in foreign exchange, if I have certain currency which I want to get converted into any denominations, I can do that with the help of these banks. So these are the functions of banks. Now let us move on to the last part of this chapter, which is structure of banks. Okay, so in structure of banks, there's a huge diagram that you need to study. Okay, so you see at the top there is Reserve Bank of India. So I'll just highlight it for you all. This is the bankers bank. Okay, under Reserve Bank of India you will get commercial banks. Yes, then you will get your regional banks, then you will get your cooperative banks. Okay, so these are the under Reserve Bank of India. So under that you have your public sector banks. Under commercial you have your private sector banks. Okay, then you under regional you do not have any. Under cooperative you have urban cooperative and you have rural cooperative. So these are all the this is the structure of banks. Let's look at each of them in a proper way. One is Reserve Bank of India. Now Reserve Bank of India is called as the bankers bank. Okay, now what does this bank do? This bank is a bank which does not work for basically does not work for profit motive, unlike the other banks. Okay, so RBI is the bankers bank who controls all the banks that are there in the economy. RBI has the authority, the rights to cancel the license of any banks which is there in an economy. The other banks, which are the commercial banks or the cooperative banks, the regional banks, all these banks have to follow the rules and regulations that are set by the RBI. Okay, RBI works with the government, uh, uh, in line with the government. Okay, so what is the first one that we need to check? We need to check the first one, which is the commercial bank. Like I told you, commercial banks, commercial means for profit objective. So commercial banks basically work for the profit objective. Their main motive is profit. Okay, uh, so in commercial banks you have public sector banks and private sector banks. Okay, so let us see the first one, which is public sector banks. So in 1999, Indian banking system had many public sector banks. The public sector banks have wider objectives of rapid economic development. They have been successfully in quantitative expansion of banking through more branches, higher deposits and credit distributions. The public sector banks undertake social responsibilities in a big way. Okay, now what are public sector banks? Like the SBI and its associate banks, and the second one is nationalized banks. Okay, so SBI and its associates, like State Bank of India of Bikaner and Jaipur, State Bank of Hyderabad, State Bank of Mysore, State Bank of Patiala, State Bank of Travancore. These are the state banks and its associates. Nationalized banks, there are 12 nationalized banks, like Central Bank of India, Punjab, the Bank of India, the Punjab National Bank, Bank of Baroda, UCO Bank, Canara Bank, State Bank of India, Union Bank, India Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, Indian Overseas Bank, and Punjab Sind Bank. These are all the nationalized banks. Like in the latest news, you must have seen that Indian Overseas Bank and Bank of India are coming under the, and they have the plans to make it private banks. Okay, what are private banks? Private banks are nothing but in the mixed economy like India, private banks also occupies an important place, right? So their major objective is profit making, and majority of the shares of private banks are in the hands of private players. Okay, so which are these banks? Under private banks, you see there is this Indian bank and foreign bank. Okay, so the banks which have their head office in India, which are owned and controlled and managed by the Reserve Bank, are all Indian banks. Foreign banks are which have their head office in abroad. Okay, overseas, which are owned and controlled by the and managed from other countries foreign banks. Right, now let's see next is what regional rural banks. They are also called as RRBs. Okay, so since middle 1970s, the regional rural bank came into existence in India. These banks were set up with specific objective of providing credit facility and deposits, especially to small and marginal farmers. So regional rural banks have basic objective of providing facilities to farmers, to the agricultural sector. Okay, which is the major sector of India. Right, in regional rural banks you have this much of information. Next is cooperative banks. Under cooperative banks you have two types of banks, which are your uh, urban banks and rural banks. Now what are urban banks? Urban banks are nothing but your uh, the urban areas. Okay, the urban areas are served by the urban cooperative banks. Okay, these banks are registered under Cooperative Societies Act, and also respective state governments. The RBI is the regulatory and supervisory authority of these banks for their banking related operations. The RBI extends supervisory remittance. So the RBI extends refinance to these banks and bank rate against their advances to tiny cottage industries. Okay, these banks are required to channelize 60% of the loans and advances towards the priority sectors. And the last one is rural cooperative banks. So they are nothing but banks which are functioning in the rural areas and are cooperative credit societies. Okay, which means people have voluntarily start these facilities for the members of those areas. So these are certain banks that we just studied about, right? So you all have in detail about each of these banks, which you all can just read and uh, understand, yeah. And regarding types of questions, you all might get specific banks as short notes which you all need to write about. Okay, so we will just see what all we covered in today's session. So in today's session we focused on what is the meaning of bank. So bank is an institution which is basically there for the finance, which deals with deposits and providing loans, accepting deposits and providing loans to the members of the economy, yeah. Then we saw what are the functions of bank. So there are major two functions of bank: primary functions of bank and secondary functions of bank. Primary functions basically deals with what is accepting deposits, granting loans and advances. So these are the basic primary functions of banks. And when you talk about the secondary functions of bank, the basic functions of secondary would be agency functions and general utility functions. So these are the secondary functions of bank. So this is what we studied. Next we highlighted upon what is the structure of banks in India. So structure of banks in India, we saw that how Reserve Bank is at the head. Okay, it is the bankers bank. Under the Reserve Bank of India all banks fall, right? We have the commercial banks, we have the regional banks, we have the cooperative banks. So all of these are under the structure of banks. So that's it for the session.